By the way, if you don't like what I do today, take back your flowers. Huh? So the flowers that you gave me at the beginning, take it back if you don't like what I'm doing. At the end, so not now. Keep the flowers for a while. Good. Just keep it with you. Keep it with you. Keep it with you. Don't rush. And this is just, I want you to think about that, because this is a question that many people sometimes neglect. You know, I love Prophet Muhammad. Of course you love Prophet Muhammad. By default, you must love Prophet Muhammad. Part and parcel. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. It's part and parcel of you. You breathe his love. You breathe in and out his love. But how to present him to the whole world? Because he says, what did he say? بلغوا بلغوا عني ولو آية. بلغوا. What does بلغوا mean? What does بلغوا mean? Come on, shuyukh. We have shuyukh here. They know. What does بلغوا mean? Huh? Preach. Wrong. Did I say it wrong? You're not wrong completely, but it's not the exact meaning of بلغوا. Huh? What does it mean? Communicate. Wrong. Why would I say wrong? I'll explain later. It's not wrong completely. So don't worry when I say wrong. Yes, come on. What does بلغوا mean? Sheikh? Huh? Forward. Wrong, Sheikhi. I'm sorry to say that. Anybody else? I thought you guys, you ladies are gonna... To spread. Wrong. To motivate. Wrong. By the way, all these words can fit under بلغوا, but it doesn't give the exact meaning of بلغوا. Huh? Convey. I feel bad to give one of our leaders to say to her, wrong. This is a bad teaching on my part. So wrong. You know, بلغوا, this is a very, be careful, the Arabic language is so beautiful a language. I think you understand it more than me. بلغوا comes from the word, huh? Balagha. What is the science that came out of this? What is the science that came out, that comes out of this word? Or that came out of this? That was derived. Come on. Those who are in Arabic language, major, you have major here? Anybody is majoring in Arabic? No Arabic? Anybody understands Arabic very, very well? Come on, shuyukh. Don't make this Saudi who doesn't know, who's not a sheikh, come here and tell you what. You know this science? Balagha. She already said, you know, poetry, prose, rhetoric, you know, balagha. Balagha is basically you have to say and convey, okay, the message of Islam. And in that word, the how. You have to be baligh. Baligh means what? Eloquent in the way you present it. Eloquent how? In choosing the right words, choosing the right statements, and make sure you mesmerize that person in front of him. You attract him more, and you hit deep into his heart so that his mind starts thinking. You know, if I hear beautiful prose or poetry like what I heard today, which I didn't understand, okay? And you understood it. It attracted you, didn't it? Prose, poetry. So balagha basically combines all of this beautiful rhythm and rhyming and all of this beautiful. So it's not just a matter of choosing the words. So it's not a matter of what? Choosing the word. When you present your prophet to the world, you have to convey the message so eloquently in a way that you will choose the best words and the statements that will get into his heart or her heart so that he will start or she will start thinking about what you say. This is why the word balligh from balagha, and it has been repeated in the Quran many times, you know. So it's not Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't say wasilu, share, or these words that we mentioned. No, because this, the art of the whole communication is this word, ballighu. You know? So in our case, we teach that in that program. Now what is this program we're talking about? This is an international program. I will start from here. It is what's called and branded as a brand. It's called EIECC. EIECC. What does it stand for? E, effective. Watch my steps. Effective. Islamic. English. Cross-cultural. Communication. You see how many things are there? You see? So our job in this program is to develop global leaders to present Islam by improving communication to other cultures, by improving their English. And English? No. It has to be Islamic English to carry the treasure that we have called Islam. How? Effectively. Now, all of this stuff that I've said it now comes under the word value. All of this comes under the word value. So, effective, you see, I will repeat this. Effective, Islamic, English, cross-cultural communication. So we develop global leaders in communication to communicate with other cultures in a beautiful English, of course, to carry the treasure called Islam. How? Eloquently or effectively. That's basically what we do. Now, so you could see there, I emphasize the word developing global leaders in a cross-cultural communication to present Islam, because this is an international program. Now, the way we do this program is very important for any school curriculum, any university, because we are using a methodology that is so powerful in developing the people instead of just giving them content. Now, we have a lot of information about Prophet Muhammad. We have treasures sitting here. Now, the question, these treasures who are sitting here, can they really present this beautiful treasure that they have to the whole world in a very effective way, and they lead into this? Now, these are questions that are very important, that we are missing. We go and sit with people who have a treasure. And you just feel bad that those same people, they cannot, or they are really not up to the level in communicating the message in a beautiful way to the whole world. So what we do is basically, we want them, first of all, to make sure we apply something called a methodology, very important for the society, for the universities. All universities in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, and I think it's in Pakistan also, they want to reach to something called what? Anybody knows? For example, in the previous strategy of Saudi Arabia, we want to reach to something called AFA. This is a strategy of Saudi Arabia for the higher education before. Now it's not higher, it's just education. They changed that. But what is it that many universities want to reach to? Anybody can help me here? You are in university, so what is the goal that all universities, they love to reach to? Come on. Just give it a try. This university, what is the goal that wants to reach to? Sheikhi, you want to try? What is the goal of this university? Your vision. What is your vision? No, this is now for the sake of the lecture now. That's different. I'm speaking in general now.
Generally, we are doing some work for the degrees also.
Okay, degrees, but at the end of the day, degrees for what?
For professional education.
Professional education for what? Huh? Societal? Okay, societal survival. That's a reasonable way of putting it. Okay, you don't want to just survive. You want to compete and be the best. You don't want to just survive. You're not clinging to something. No. In general, I will make your job easy. According to the AFAP, which is the strategy long time ago, and they changed it now a little bit, but almost all universities would want to reach to something called knowledge society. Economic society, but this is knowledge-based society. Knowledge-based society. Now, to reach to this society, you have to change the style of teaching, the style of developing your people, the style of orchestrating any curriculum to get the students to become adept in their majors. Now, the question is not the knowledge. This is where the problem is. The problem is not in the knowledge per se. We have a lot or a plethora of knowledge. We have a lot of knowledge. The problem is that in the way we use, in the methodology we use to deliver that knowledge, to make sure that we develop leaders from within to continue sustaining that knowledge to develop that society, Pakistan. And that's the strength of any institute. That's the strength of any learning organization. This is why they use the word learning organization these days a lot. Any company, any university, if it doesn't have this in mind and they use a different way of delivery that is not constructive, they call it social constructivist, it will go backward instead of forward. You understand what I'm saying here? This is why the methodology of the same program is almost the same. I used to be the head of the professional learning in Saudi Aramco, the oil company, Saudi Arabia, which is the richest company in the world. Basically, the future leaders used to pass by me. That was 10 years ago, before I retired. They got rid of me. They didn't like me. I'm just joking here, by the way. I just retired because I wanted to dedicate myself to this program. And with some health problem, of course. So, we have to make sure that our society applies our learning institute, or universities, or colleges, or the activities in the curriculum that we use, apply this constructive approach, social constructivist approach. This will make, to make it easy for you, for example, what is the methodology of this program? I'll give it to you. It is self-directed learning teams, a stepping stone to knowledge society and cross-cultural communication to present Islam. So whatever we are doing, we are not teaching people directly. People themselves are involved we are trying to ignite their passion to start having these talents that they already have inside them to come out, and they put these talents together, so they produce a power called synergistic power, where they can produce a society that is very strong and innovative and creative. And instead of waiting for a teacher to come and spoon feed them. That is a data point. When the teacher comes and teaches you, that's a data point, that's information, that's knowledge. Yes, beautiful. But the question is what are you doing with this knowledge? Are you applying the hadith of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that we've just mentioned? What did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say? This is a very powerful hadith, and it has the methodology in it, the constructive. What is it? بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Where is the strength in this hadith? In comparison to what I said about the methodology. The strength that if you know one verse, right away you teach it to others. Now, do we do this? If your kid knows one verse, he's supposed to teach it to others. Because if you learn at the beginning, you get knowledge. But as soon as you teach your kid to teach that verse, you learn how to share and care, and you build the character of values. مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنِ, whoever has learned the Quran, وَعَلَّمَ, he said, wow. Right away you teach it to other people. You don't wait till you memorize the whole Quran. No. That's not Islamic practice. The Islamic practice, as soon as you learn a verse, right away, this is the strength is in the immediacy. This is the constructive approach. So when you are in class with your participants, with your students, as soon as they learn something, make sure that they teach each other, or they stand and talk And as soon as they get involved in a project-based learning or experiential learning, this is where you build the character of sharing and caring, and you build leadership because you empower them early on and they become strong. But when you are just talking, and they are in the class, you are really stifling and killing the talents. Am I clear here? Anybody would like to say something that might not like my word? I'm saying this because this is exactly what the learning organization that they speak about today, the best organization in the world, they are trying to apply this concept, where people learn, teach each other, coach each other, learn from each other. They build the strength for the organization, and they become more cohesive and more strong, and the organization profit in no time because people are working together in a much better way. The same thing happens, should be in university. This is where the knowledge society happens. Not only that, even at home. If your kids learn something, make sure they teach it back to you. You know, because you are developing, you're empowering them early on. And that's really very important because you'll have knowledge society by having a knowledge-based family, knowledge-based school, knowledge-based university. Imagine a university that is knowledge-based. Doesn't get you to knowledge. I mean, with the thinking I'm sharing with you. These are just very important concepts. Now, this whole program is based on what I've talked about. Now, let's move a little bit. I hope you can see this. So, this is what we do. I have a center, small center, just to clothe myself with officiality, as I say, so that whatever I do, at least it is garbed and clothed with official. This is what we do. I hope you can see that. So we try to build people, rounded people, by giving them more opportunities to make sure that we develop their competencies. Most importantly, we want them to, I can't see that, I don't know if you can, we want to realize the treasure that people have, the talents and the capabilities, because every one of you is a bonanza of talents, is a stock of talents and capabilities. So we want to make sure that these talents come out. Now, you cannot get this out unless you change your style of teaching, your style of instruction, you know. In addition, of course, to the tradition, doesn't mean you get rid of it. But the question is that what the students are going to do after, you know. So we want to make sure we realize the fullest potential of the people, their capacity to the fullest. We want to also make sure that they identify opportunities for learning. We want them to share the knowledge of Islam. Of course, we're talking about sharing Islam. And when we talk about opportunities, we speak about opportunities to share Islam. We want them also to learn how to communicate ideas. We want them how to lead self and others at the same time, working together in teams. We want them to search for, whatever you do, we want it to be creative. You have to do something creative. Also, we want them to be, when they communicate any message, we want them to be themselves. Be yourself. We want them to be spontaneous. We want them to be quick-witted, and they know how to deal with the situation and lead the situation. Because when you do da'wah, when you present Islam to other people, you have to, be agile, quick-witted, spontaneous, original. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created every one of you in a unique fashion. We want this originality to radiate, to get. Because learning from good communicators is one phase in the learning. But that's not you. If I go try to imitate a good speaker, that's not you. But that's a learning phase you might take, which is, okay, it's commendable, no problem, but that's not you. But we want people to reach to their originality when they stand and communicate and talk about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or talk about Islam in general. Something that you need to understand, this program, EIECC, is not just, one of the workshops is called present eloquently Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to the world. And this is where I sent you now a barcode, and that barcode, if you scan it, you will have pamphlets, you'll have books all about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, you'll have YouTubes from trusted places, alhamdulillah. You'll have exhibits, about 4 exhibits. You can do your own exhibits about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And you have a lot of things in there. And you have audios, and you have many things about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in that if you basically scan this barcode. Now, what do we do? Why do we have to have this barcode? Because we have a workshop. The workshop is usually about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Takes 3 days, 2 to 3 days. You're talking about 10 to 15 hours. And in this workshop, by the end of this workshop, you will be speaking beautifully about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. That's the idea. We give you a process. You go through a process. And I started the process, by the way, by saying, write something. That's basically the first of it. But I just wanted you to have something in your mind. And we build on your thoughts, first thoughts. Now, how do you build on your first thought? Before I continue this, I just want to show you the other, this is our ship that we cruise the world in. And in this ship, we want to create a learning cross-cultural communication community where we present Islam to the whole world. And through this journey, we develop the skills, the competencies that you need it in life and in the Islamic, in da'wah activities. And what you see under there is self-directed learning teams. This is the manhajiyya, the methodology I was talking about. And this is, if you implant and you sow the seeds for this manhajiyya, this methodology, what will happen? You will develop true global leaders in presenting Islam. If you really apply it. We go around, I was in Malaysia several months ago. I developed the tour guides. They have about 11 mosques, okay? And I had about, the whole trip was 15 days. I trained about 4 societies, and basically the first workshop is called Present Its Beauty to the World. This is the first workshop. The second workshop is called Present Eloquently Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to the world. The third workshop called How Can We Win Hearts? The fourth workshop, How to Present Islam Through the Adhan. There are gems and jewels in the Adhan that if you really understand the Adhan very well, I talked about Ballighu, and you see how difficult it was for you to answer me. Now the Adhan is full of beautiful gems and jewels. If you just stick to the Adhan, this is more than enough to present Islam. We've collected from the Adhan about 9 workshops. We've collected gems and jewels from the people, then we anchor them in the Sunnah and the Quran, and then we produce projects. And this is one of the projects that we also have. This is also a 3-day workshop. Just the Adhan. And you will be amazed about how much you can say about the Adhan to present Islam. And the beauty of it, Adhan has the belief system all there. The deeper you go into the Adhan, you'll discover that, wow, now I know why these words, 1,400 years, they are echoing every 4 minutes, in every zone time, the Adhan will, imagine people will not do da'wah. Who will do da'wah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His mercy for the people, will let this echo so that He will remind all the people, Muslims and non-Muslims, about how great that He is, about what's the message that we're supposed to be following, and what is it that we're supposed to be doing to be successful in this life and the hereafter, and He will always stay greater than anybody else. Whether you come or you don't come as a human being, we stand to lose if we don't come, and we stand to win if we come to this eternal call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And strange enough, this call is mentioned even in the Old Testament. about the prophecy. It's a prophecy about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and speaks about this song that will come and echo. And this prophet will come and bring this song with, and it will echo. It will contain the gist and the most important message that we all human beings are supposed to hearken to and listen to and submit ourselves to. Beautiful. If you go deep into the adhkar or deep into the adhan or deep into the supplication, you'll be amazed about these beautiful words. You don't need to read a lot to present Islam. It's already there. As-Sahaba, companions, may Allah be pleased with them, as soon as they became Muslim right away, he just said that right away he goes and spread the message of Islam. Right away, because they really understood the true belief. They understood this word, the testimony, very well. So right away they went and they started conveying the message of Islam. They didn't wait to memorize the Quran or to have all this PhD stuff that is already here. We have it standing on the in Saudi Arabia, all these universities, in Kuwait, in Egypt, in the Muslim world. How many PhDs and master theses are sitting on the shelves, not being used and turned into a project? Just ask yourself. And the strange thing, we continue wallowing and continue. It doesn't mean this is bad, but you need to make sure you actualize it and you turn it into practice, because something very important, that the 4 words that you need to remember all the time: knowledge, applying the knowledge, conveying the knowledge, being patient in all the 3. Again, you have to have knowledge, you have to apply the knowledge, you have to convey the knowledge. This is the Islamic creed, one of the most important essentials in Islam. Knowledge, apply the knowledge, convey the knowledge, be patient in all the 3. These are the most important 4 words that we take some time. If we just put them in front of us. So if I have PhD, that's knowledge. Now the question, am I applying all of that? Am I conveying all of that? You see? And remember, when you convey the goodness, ordaining goodness and forbidding evil, don't forget, other people will come to you. Allah might test you with bad people. So you have to be patient. And will test you with good people, but they speak so highly of themselves, they forget about being humble, which is part and parcel of the Muslim character. You understand where I'm going here? I hope I have not made you feel bad because you came for something and I turned your mind into something else. I'm thinking strategically more. This is not a lecture I give. This is basically workshop that are so deep. You love it here. And by the way, let me just show you. These are the 3 goals. What is our first goal? Developing global leadership from within to present Islam. Underline from within. We don't need people to be spoon-fed all the time, told, no, khalas, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is there, it's already should be embedded of you. There is no excuse for anybody to say, leave it for the shiur to do it. That's not an Islamic thinking, right thinking, no? Everyone, kullukum ra', every one of you, or all of you are what? Shibr, responsible. Okay? So nobody will say, no, leave it for the sheikh. That's not Christianity. No. We are all responsible. Whatever good we have, whatever ayah we have to share it to the other people. Learn another ayah and share it. And learn from the other people. And that's the strength of Islam. The Muslim, wherever he lands, he's like the rain. The Muslim should be like the rain. Wherever the rain lands, the fruits will come. Because of the beauty of this individual that is most important than the Kaaba in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Muslim in the sight who says, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is more worthier than the Kaaba that the Muslim goes around. So never underestimate what you have. Never belittle yourself. And this is what we are suffering from. Sometimes we tend to go away, and I cannot do it, and no. You have it. You have a lot to offer. I stand in front of you, and I'm sure you have a lot of people who are standing there or sitting there much better than me in many aspects that I can learn from. You can learn from me something, I can learn more from you. You know? So never belittle what you have. You have a lot to give. This society, Pakistani, is one of the most emotional, loving society for Prophet Muhammad and for Islam. You can give a lot, but of course we have to learn it in the way Prophet Muhammad has taught us. And we have to be careful about certain things that might infiltrate sometime, that we need to make sure we push it away. We just go to the standard, criteria. It's like accrediting bodies. When you go to accredit an organization, they have their own standard. The same thing for this is Islam. These are the criteria. I have check. Oh. So we have to be careful also in following the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad in the way he has instructed us to do, and not to, of course, overinflate the Prophet, as he said, don't deify me like what the Christian did with Jesus, when they deified him and they made him into God. So we have also to be, because we are a balanced ummah. We are a balanced ummah. Okay, so this is the first goal. The second goal, be an Islamic, this is our, by the way, slogan in the whole world. Be an Islamic exhibit on the move. I want to see, when I say Saeed University, be Saeed University on the move. Carry this vision of this university. When you graduate from this university, you have to be Saeed University on the move. You carry the same vision, the same mission, the same values. Not just you finish, you get your degree, and Saeed University vanishes, and no more Saeed University. No. You understand what I'm saying? So whatever you learn, you have to carry the beautiful stuff that you've learned here that speaks about the beautiful vision and mission and values of this beautiful edifice. The third goal of this EIECC program is to produce communities of commitment. Commitment to what? To presenting Islam in the best way to the whole world. These are the main goals. Of course, then, why we had this program? How many people speak English in the whole world, in the Muslim world? Of course, you speak much better than other people, but how many people speak English? And how many of those people utilize it to be proud of their Islam and present Islam? This is what started this program 35 years ago, and it was called English for Dawah when we started it. Because we found many people speak English. Studied in America, studied in UK, Canada, and many places, Pakistan, India, name it. Saudis, a big number, Kuwaitis, Bahrainis, name them. They speak, a lot of people speak English. Now when you tell them, are you using it to speak about your deen? They shy away, they are not using it for the sake of Allah. That's one thing. The other aspect is that some people are hijacked by the fact that they speak English. They start acting like, hey man, what's happening? Or that, it gets gathered together, all that stuff, and they start imitating nationalities that they have nothing to do with their character. And that's a danger. So we try to bring them back, to tell them, come on guys, or ladies, use it. This is a ni'mah. Allah has given it to you. Use this English language for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do you have to act like this, that you have a beautiful culture, godly culture, you have it, present it to the whole world? Why do you have to, and this is the danger that we are facing in many of the Muslim countries. People are hijacked in the name of learning English language, or they go to, the West, and they try shway, or step by step, they go away from their Islamic identity. So what we try to do in this program for you, come back please, come in the house of Islam, we'll give you a good environment, simulated environment where you can cross-cultural, dialogue, and we improve their Islamic English. It becomes like an Islamic, an institute, English institute, but the content is what? All Islamic. And this is also another side of this very powerful program. So it's not just leadership and communication, it is also an English center. But the content is what? Anybody, any university can take this program and turn the whole, and can use it. It's ready, it's designed, it's just a matter of training some people and they start running with it. You just have your building and people in charge. Very well tried, very powerful program. This is why I feel very important to share it. I might have failed you because I did not share what you had in mind, but I want you to do a much better job than just a matter of me standing in front of you and lecturing, because that's not the way to go. Because every one of you is responsible. Every one of you is a leader, you know. So this is something you need to keep in your mind. Now, so because of that, we have found a lot of people who speak English, but they don't use it. We introduced this program. Now, these are the specific objectives of the Language Center. When they attend this EIC, they are supposed to do what? The first objective, to improve their Islamic, English, concept, terms, statement, reasonable knowledge. Improve their communication competency. Thirdly, improve their self-led teams or communities of commitment. Fourthly, they improve the discussion. If you attend this workshop, you'll cover all of this, the 3 days or the 2 days. Sometimes we do it. Sometimes we do it in 1 day, but it's a long stretch. Okay? The ability to give a short presentation. You'll be aware of some of the subtleties, the hidden meaning of some of the words, because you have to be careful. There are some words that you might say, you think you are conveying the message of Islam, but basically you are saying something against you. Like what? Anybody can say? An example? There are some words in English that when you use them, you have to be very careful. You know? When you talk to the non-Muslim, you have to be careful. Or Christian, you have to be careful. Like what? Because in these words are the main concept of Islam, but unfortunately, the way we translate them, you know, we shoot ourselves in the foot. I'm not going to give you an example. Think about it. Maybe you'll... Okay, the last one, as I said, we want to ignite the passion of all those who speak English to protect the house of Islam. And instead of them becoming a detrimental harm in the house of Islam, we want to make sure we approach them, we bring them, we put them this, and we encourage them, and we ignite, and we make sure we remind them of this Islamic character. Clear? Okay, I don't want to go deeper into that. There are lots of stuff. I just want to show you something. This is, by the way, very important for your university or your colleges or your curriculum. This is one of the most important models. If you don't have this model, you're losing something. So what I'm saying, this is a must-have model at home, for your curriculum, if you want to build a college, your university, you have to have this model, you know? I'm showing you a model just, I don't want to, you remember what I said? You see here, what do you read from that? Anybody can tell me, what do you read from this model? This is a very intricate model, I know, it's confusing. But it's very simple. You remember what I said? Lecturing will not make it. Lecturing will not develop leaders. And this is why. But if you go up the ladder, you have lecturing. You see what will happen in lecturing? When you go lecturing, only 5% retention. The developing of competency and the skill is very low. The development of leadership is very low. You know, if you just lecture. Also, the empowerment is very low. So you are not building a character or leaders. You just lecture. But now, if you go up reading, 10%, it will be better a little. If you go audiovisuals, it will be much better. If it's your demonstration, you could see the third bit. The empowerment more, the leadership more, you know, the competencies are developed more, the improvement of leaders more, you know. If you go group discussion, 50%. If you practice by doing project-based, you know, 75%. And most importantly, if you teach what you have learned, right away. Remember what I said? This will unleash your talents. And Allah, and you'll see all of this coming. You'll have more facilitation and mentoring. People will be facilitating and mentoring, coaching each other, more of that. People will cooperate. You'll have a more cohesive organization or society or college. You'll have more competencies built that are needed for organization and outside work. You'll have developing leadership, communication more. There will be more communication, more leadership being developed. There will be more, because as soon as you start giving and teaching what you have in your mind, the retention of this information and the knowledge will be more. And lastly, the empowerment also will be more. Do you understand this? So any activities that you do or you write in your instructional design or in whatever you do, you have to follow this as a model. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this, but this says after we give people 2 days or 3 days, we give them assignments for 8 weeks. They do it on their own. They turn into teams and they do it on their own. They produce their own projects and they use the social media and they apply the tools we gave them in the 3 days. We have very powerful tools. We have very powerful tools. And I'll stop here just to show you this. Let the Adhan finish and I'll go to the other PowerPoint.